Hello everyone, welcome to this new video where I'm going to walk you through the new bonus mission for the Blue-Nosed Bastards of Bodney campaign. So after releasing some of the missions of the Big Show campaign and upgrading them for the channel map, I decided I really wanted to fly the Mustang over the beautiful channel map, so I included the bonus mission, because the original campaign, the Blue-Nosed Bastards of Bodney, is using the Normandy map. Here you can see the briefing panels. It's a penetration support escort mission in the morning of August 14th, 1944. The wind is blowing from the southwest. So we're going to take off over there. This is the order of the battle. So there's going to be 3 squadrons flying, each with 12 Mustangs. We are transport white leader, so we're leading the 487th. The 486th is leading the show. Their call sign is Angus, and on the left flank that's the 328th, call sign Ditto. And the group call sign is Topsy, so Angus White Leader's call sign is Topsy when he's talking to sweepstake control or anyone. This is the map, pretty easy. We take off from Bodney, which is Detling in our case. Head to the rendezvous point just off Margate, and fly all the way to somewhere beyond Lille, actually Tournai, and that's where the 4th Fighter Group will relieve us. So here we go. We're sitting on the airfield. We get a message to use the F10 radio menu. So if your PC is not very powerful, you can select a small bomber formation. That means you'll only meet like 24 bombers instead of 72, and that helps performance a lot. So let's start her up. Flaps up. I'm gonna leave the carb air filter on filtered air because it's a grass airfield. And set the trim 5 to 6 degrees starboard. Normally I would use a few degrees nose down, but I'm not using a force feedback stick, and in my experience on my stick, it helps to have 0 trim. Set the altimeter, correct the throttle, engage the gyro, fuel on, parking brake, on, set. I don't want the aircraft to move forward. Turn on the battery and the generator, correct the throttle, fuel pump on. Let's prime the engine for a couple of seconds. Oh, gun sight off, of course. So let's prime the engine and
clear prop.
mags on, and make sure to run. It's not working. Oh yeah, I actually turned the mags off instead of on. Okay, let's start again. Make sure cut off, mags off,
Clear prop.
magneto on, make sure to run, and the engine catches. Let's go for 1000 RPM.
Good luck, sir. See you later.
Thank you. That was my crew chief. Radio on, channel D for Bodney or Detling, as you can see here in the kneeboard. Yeah, that's the stock ATC. So let's warm up the engine. I'm using the oil dilution and set the RPM to just over 1000. So basically I want the oil pressure to remain below the red needle, otherwise I can blow some pipes if there's too much oil pressure. So I'm increasing power while keeping the oil dilution on. This is a bit of a cheat to warm up faster. Okay, I release it because I can reach 1500 RPM and the oil pressure is still in the green. And now we wait. have a couple of aircraft already lining up at the end of the runway. I think they have red tails, so there's the 328. Those are my wingman with the blue tails. 487th. Some flights are already orbiting above, so I decided to use Deadling because it's a big grass airfield, just like Bodney was, so it looks pretty similar. Okay, they're taking off. It's the 328, call sign Ditto. My wingmen are warming up next to me. They're rolling onto the runway. So the start engine time is 9:11, and we have until 9:25 to take off. That's when the squadron will set course. So let's start rolling. I'm using a twist stick here, which makes ground handling pretty difficult. I don't have my rudder pedals with me right now, and they're really recommended for World War II aircraft. Especially for the toe brake axis, you can be very gentle on the brakes and taxi the aircraft easily, but with a twist stick and using buttons for brakes, that's not so easy. So let's keep our speed low and look where we're going. Start S-ing a little bit. Rolling onto the taxiway. I think we're number 3 for takeoff. Let's drop 15 degrees of flap. And we're number 2 now. Okay, let's stop right here. Turn a little bit into the wind so that when we do the engine run up, we don't blow away anyone who's behind us. Yeah, my wingman. Okay, let's power up to 2000 RPM. This is where we exercise the prop pitch. It's working. This is where we test the magnetos, but I just don't know the control assignment for that right now. And I don't have a free hand to use my mouse. Let's close the canopy. And let's roll onto the runway. Nice and easy. Okay, hold the brakes. Power up. All the way up to 52 inches. Let's keep her straight. Stick back to keep the tail wheel locked so I have more control. And then the tail comes up slowly. And I'm airborne. I should have let the tail come up a bit more. It's a bit dangerous, especially with the fuselage tank full. Oh, look at that. Somebody had an accident. DCS AI sometimes does that. I've noticed this here over Deadling. Sometimes they just cannot take off. They crash into the trees. But this is not something very unrealistic, so this happened in real life too. Okay, so we gotta form up on the rest of the group. We're already orbiting. And let's wait until the set course time at 0925. So switch to channel A and switch to the fuselage tank. Even if you are carrying drop tanks, you want to use the fuel in your fuselage tank because that's behind the center of gravity, and if an aircraft has a lot of weight positioned aft, then it's gonna become very unstable and very hard to dogfight in. So we're gonna try and use up all the fuel in our fuselage tank and only then start using the drop tanks. This is how it was done in real life. So where are the others? My squadron is taking off right now. There goes green flare. And there they are, all the other Mustangs. So let's try and form up on the starboard side of the big formation. We're going to be leading 12 Mustangs. So that's transport squadron. When they're orbiting over the airfield, it's really hard to see who's who, but as long as you stick with the formation, you're good. And after setting course, it's going to get easier. By the way, Bodney is somewhere over there up north, a bit north of the estuary, and now because we're using the DCS map, we're south of it, so the mission is going to be a bit shorter. And it's 9:22, still 3 minutes to go. Some aircraft are still taking off. They're going to be on time. Let's reduce the power a little bit. Turn off the carburetor air filter now because we have enough altitude. So you want to turn it on at low altitude, basically for takeoffs, landings, ground ops, when you're operating from a dusty airfield or grass airfield. There they are. That over there, red tail, 328. There on the other side of the formation. So originally when I built the campaign, only the Normandy map was available, which is great, I love it, and it has really good performance now. But the channel map is just so beautiful. Okay, there are some, I think, yellow-tailed Mustangs. It's Angus, 486, the lead squadron. So the channel map is just so much more beautiful that I always wanted to fly a proper mission, flying Mustangs using the channel map. So I decided I would include this bonus mission with the campaign for those who own this map as well. And it's also a bit of a larger scale mission than the stock, the Noser campaign missions, because there you usually fly with only 12 Mustangs maximum. But after building my Wolfpack campaign for the P-47 Thunderbolt, and those missions were created based on original combat reports, so whatever happened in real life happens in the missions. And those are really large scale, and I found it fascinating to fly as a part of such a huge formation. It adds a lot to the immersion. Okay, 15 seconds until setting course in that direction. So Angus White Leader, call sign Topsy, should make a radio call soon.
Topsy, this week's take control. We are airborne. Let's take the Topsy. The big friends are airborne. Currently climbing into Cymbeline. Roger, we're headed to
so the big friends, the bombers, are also already airborne. They're assembling their formation. which is a pretty difficult task, especially considering the fact that in real life there were hundreds of bombers. So the 72 bombers that we're going to meet here is still just a fraction of that. Can't imagine how they could climb up to over 20,000 feet and assemble that complex formation. Okay, there's top C, so Angus White leader, white flag. We have to follow them, stay on their starboard side. Still a bit chaotic, I can't see my wingman still, but they're surely somewhere behind, trying to keep up, catch up. Let's move a bit to the right. Throttle back, we don't want to overshoot them. It's very nice of them to throttle back so that everybody can catch up more easily. Note that as I throttled back, I also decreased the RPM. Okay, oh, I'm in the wrong spot. That's Angus blue flag. So let's move out even more. Okay, they started climbing, so increase RPM to 2800, then increase power to 52 inches of manifold, and keep the aircraft trimmed. Again, I'm using the twist stick right now, and that's not helping, so I'm using the rudder trim to keep the ball centered, but it's going to be difficult. The DCS AI is using very high power settings for climbing, which is not a problem, but as a human player it's difficult to keep up because you have to keep your speed up, optimal climb rate, so at 155, 160 miles per hour, keep the aircraft perfectly trimmed. And here's a little surprise, channel B or C, can't recall. There you can find some music, because there's going to be long lags of just flying formation, just like in real life. And to help you pass the time, there's some music. I found some copyright-free music on YouTube, so I'm using these original BBC radio broadcasts. I always find that music always puts you in the right mood for a given era, given mission. I even have Spotify playlists for each era, and sometimes I play it in the background. But of course I cannot use those songs because they are protected by copyright laws. We're entering the clouds and they're pulling away a little bit. Well, we're still good, I think. Keep the temperatures below the red line by keeping the speed up. Even if you're tempted to, do not climb too steep and let your speed drop to below 155 miles per hour, because that's when you're going to overheat and your climb rate is just not that efficient at that point. Okay, we made it through the first layer of clouds. I just love the new clouds. Again, it adds so much visually. Okay, we're lagging behind a little bit. That's Angus over there, because I'm not flying perfectly clean, because I'm using the twist stick.
And they are. Big friends at 9 o'clock. Get in white 3 here.
Big friends 9 o'clock, yeah.
Roger, I see them. Top the aircraft. Assume your assigned position.
Okay, we're rejoining with the big friends. Now, the fighter group splits up. Every squadron has their assigned position. So, 486th is going to fly on the right flank. The 328th is going to cover the left flank, and we're top cover. And because my fuselage tank is empty, I switched over to the right hand drop tank. So now if we run into the enemy, we drop the external tanks, and then the aircraft is good to go for a dogfight. We won't be hindered by fuel in the fuselage tank. It's behind the cockpit. There are the bombers, all 72 of them, which looks amazing. Magnificent formation, even though it's just a fraction of real life bomber formations. But I don't think I would have the patience to set up 700 bombers in DCS, and I don't think it would be good for performance either. There are some Mustangs trying to assume their position. Clock high, that's 328. Let's keep climbing. The bombers are at 22,000 feet, so I want to be at 25. Wingman, I can't see transport blue and red flags, but they're somewhere behind surely. This is a bit funny because when the DCS AI is climbing on its own, it's really hard to keep up with them. They climb so perfectly and efficiently. However, when the DCS AI is supposed to follow you, so they're your wingman or they're another flight with the task of following you, they're terrible. They lag behind, and they're having a hard time to catch up. So when you're the leader, you have to take this into consideration and use lower power settings. Let's turn on the gun sight, turn on the gyro as well. Wingspan 33 feet or 109, and convergence to 1,000 yards or distance, because that's approximately the convergence range of the guns. So when the wingspan of the enemy aircraft matches that little diamond, that's when I'm in the perfect range to fire. That's when he's going to get the most concentrated round of bullets. Let's keep climbing.
This is Bill Blue 3. My drop tanks are either empty or they're not feeding.
Okay, someone from the 328th broke radio silence.
How's the rest of the gas look?
Some sort of fuel problem.
Yeah, it feeds for about 10 seconds and then it quits. Blue 4 back with you. Are you going back with me? Did you get the message? Go back to Blue 3. Roger.
Okay, so these missions were usually flown in radio silence. You didn't want to tip Jerry off that you're coming, or give them any information that they could use. This radio silence was usually broken when some sort of trouble occurred, engine problem, fuel problem, and that's when aircraft had to abort. And when somebody had to abort, like this aircraft, I think the external tanks were not feeding, which is a problem because then he has to use the internal fuel tanks, and he may not have enough fuel to return to base if we engage with the enemy. So it's better to abort and return to base. And in that case, somebody had to break off with him and cover him all the way back. What if there are more problems on the way? There's the crash into the channel. Who's going to call ARC rescue? so on and so forth, especially over enemy territory. You don't want to fly home alone with a faulty aircraft. So we're over the bomber formation. All the squadrons are in place, and we're going to start weaving because the bombers are flying quite slow, and we don't want to slow down that much. We want to keep our speed up. And I'm going to switch over to the left hand external tank. This is very important in the Mustang because you don't want to switch on to one of the external tanks until it's empty and only then switch over to the other one, because if you have an empty tank on one side and full tank on the other, it's going to induce a lot of roll momentum, and you'll have to fight it with the stick. You don't want that.
Topsy aircraft, we're crossing the enemy coastline. Check your O2 mask gun switches on and keep your heads on a swivel.
Okay, that was Angus Wide Leader, Topsy. We're crossing the enemy coastline. Probably gonna get some flak, but hopefully not us, not the top cover fighter squadron. They're gonna be aiming at the bombers. So what I do in terms of fuel management in the Mustang, I use one side for 5 minutes, and then I switch over to the other side and keep switching every 10 minutes. So instead of using one side for 10 minutes and then the other side for another 10 until it equals the other side, it's going to get imbalanced. So I want one side to go below the other. I don't know if that explanation was clear, but I hope the message got through. We have some high level cloud layer here. There is Angus in position. Let's keep scanning the skies. The Luftwaffe can attack any moment now.
Sweeps take control to all squadrons. 20 plus over Austin. Angels 15 and climbing.
And this to our east. Over there. Still pretty far. Maybe they're climbing to meet us. Okay, we're well above the bomber formation, so if they're jumped, we can dive on the enemy, get some extra speed to attack, which is what we want as a top cover squadron. So far, I see nothing.
Oh, good lord. 104's got a direct hit. It's spinning down out of control.
Okay, one of the bombers got hit by a flak.
Can you
I
shoot?
can see it.
Come on, boys. Get out of there. I see 1, 2, 3 shoots. Only 3.
Oh, that's bad news. Crew of 10 and only 3 got out. So that's why we have to protect the bombers. One bomber down means the loss of 10 men. That's a lot. There's our little friends. Still can't see any trace of the Luftwaffe. These new clowns are just beautiful.
We're airborne and checking in.
Oh, good. Horseback is a call sign of the 4th Fighter Group. They're going to relieve us over Tournai just after a little. So if we don't run into the enemy until then, we will just set course to home base and drop down to ground level and shoot stuff up. Anything goes.
Sweepstake top, the 15 plus converging towards the big fringe from the east, 20 miles from your position.
Okay. They're coming from the east. They're getting close. So we may not get to Tournai without a fight. We're getting deeper and deeper into enemy territory. So the stakes are high now. In order to successfully complete the mission, you don't have to achieve anything, you just have to be able to fly back to England. You can even bail out over there. You just have to be there and not get captured. If you make it halfway through the channel, you can try calling Air Sea Rescue. And if they get a fix on your position, you get a successful mission completion as well, because they're going to rescue you. If you don't call them, then you're going to swim a lot. Everything's still pretty calm. Nothing behind us either.
This is Ditto Rescue. Bandits, 9 o'clock low. They're in a climb.
Ditto Rec 2, that's the 328 on the left flank. Over there.
Top C, the Ditto leader. Take your squadron down to attack. Angus and transport, stay in position and keep your eyes peeled.
Ditto, they're seeing
Roger,
me.
Ditto, chopping tanks and attacking. Let's go, boys.
They're going to go down to attack. There they go. Diving into the enemy. I can't see that flag, but we're not supposed to attack anyway. Let's stay high above the bombers in case there are more. Okay, there they are, diving. Give them hell. I don't see any gunfire coming from the bombers, which means Ditto spotted them in time. Looks like they're gonna manage to bounce them unnoticed. Switch tanks again.
Going down. The pilot bailed out.
Okay, there's one victory. They're also probably getting lower and lower. So let's stay sharp. And also let's try to move to the left flank of the formation now that Ditto is out of the game. No, not a trace. We're probably down at ground level already, or below the clouds. Okay, here we are. The 328 is still engaged. It's a group of bandits.
This is transport red leader. Bandits, 11 o'clock.
Bandits. Yes, I see them.
15109, coming in at 1 o'clock level. This is Angus Yellow 2.
Angus is also seeing some of the Luftwaffe.
Drop your tanks and attack.
Okay, they're attacking. Let's switch onto the main tank and drop the tanks at power and try to climb, get some altitude before we meet them head on.
Transport aircraft, engage bandits.
Let's order the 2 other flights to engage bandits, and then order the second element of my flight, and order my wingman to cover me. There they are, slightly higher, coming almost head on. 486 is also diving onto a formation. I can see that formation. There they are.
We're going for the low squadron.
I'm not coming head on, so I'm gonna just pull up, convert my energy into altitude, and hope to drop back onto the tail of one of them. There's one. It's separated. Bombers are passing right below us. And come on. Bit outside of range. And now he's in range. Hit him. Gotta throttle back not to overshoot. I'm getting some slight stutters. This sometimes happens when World War II aircraft are engaging each other. Maybe the new DM. Smoothened out. He's on to one of my friends. But I hit him. He's got an oil leak and broke off his attack. More hits. Trying to dive away. That's not smart. From his part. Not enough deflection. And there we go. Good hits around the cockpit. Some more. Canopy comes off. Pilot bailed out. Okay, good. And on my tail. There's the parachute. There are the bombers in the distance. I think I can see my wingman turning behind me. Where's everyone else? Oh, there's a 109 turning onto my tail. Let's tighten it up. Do a bit of a barrel. There's Lil just below. Okay, I think I lost him. Where is he? There he is. One more barrel roll. Try and get on his tail. Very easy with this stick. The aircraft is already shuddering. It's very easy to enter a high-speed stall, especially at high altitudes, especially if you don't empty your fuselage tank.
Johnny, there's two 190s on your tail.
Gaining on him, he's trying to dive into the clouds, perhaps. Full power at this point. Good hits, good hits. Okay, one of the 100 carries coming down, throttling back. More hits. He's not going down. Okay, dropping flaps, putting power to idle. Going for the deck. Trying to save his ass. I really wish I had water pedals right now. I'm low on ammo, and for some reason when in the Mustang you're low on ammo, get crazy dispersion. He's got holes in the elevators and everywhere. It's not like I'm melting the machine guns by firing long bursts. Maximum 3-4 seconds. See, it's really hard to aim. Not sure why this is happening or if this is realistic, but it's next to impossible to hit anything like this. It's for coolant leaking from the left-hand radiator. And I'm out of ammo. You lucky bastard. He's not even evading my shots. Just running. big hole
Somebody come back here and help us.
below the pilot's seat. That's where the
I got your back,
fuel
yellow
tank
green.
is.
Right left, now.
Lots of holes just behind the engine. Pilot may be wounded as well. Oh well. I don't think the aircraft is going to fly, even if he survives it. Good luck, buddy. There's my wingman.
I have a 190 right above me, Pappy.
Now let's see where
I
everyone
got
else
it,
is.
boys. Engaging bandit.
Can't see a thing.
3, tailing bandit, 1 o'clock.
On many accounts I read about this phenomenon. So you enter a big dogfight, and after a couple of seconds, the sky is empty. You can't find anyone else.
4, engaging bandit.
Apparently they're still fighting, but I can't see a thing. So let's head northwest and get some altitude.
4, engaging bandit.
There's no point staying on the deck because I have no more ammo left, so I can't shoot stuff up.
3, engaging bandit. 2, tailing bandit,
1
1
o'clock.
o'clock.
Where? Oh, there he is. There's a 109 turning on tail. Let's order my wingman to engage him.
Engage bandits. 2, roger. 2, engaging bandit. 2, engaging bandit. Oh, we're back to sweepstake. We have the big friends inside.
Okay, the 4th fighter group reached the Big Friends.
Roger. Copy. You're clear to break off the big friends in RTV. 3, tailing bandit.
In RTV, but
Roger that.
our hands full right now.
With set course to home
There he
base.
is.
Check your gas and drop down straight ground targets if you have any
Oh,
ammo.
he's following my wingman, shooting at him, full power. Emergency power. Let's hope I can scare him off. No ammo left to shoot at him. Come on, turn.
2, RTV.
Oh,
2, contact target 1 o'clock, point 3.
okay, he broke off, but he hit my wingman real bad. Let's stay on his tail, just to distract him a bit. Okay, I think he's going for another pass. He probably can't see me, or just doesn't care. We're also getting real low over a big city, probably Lille. This is not good, I don't like it. There ought to be AAA. My wingman is leaking oil. I don't know. I'm gaining on him, but not enough. He can't see me. And apparently he's a bad shot. These rounds are going wide to the left.
4, tally bandit, 5 o'clock.
You need more practice, dude. Okay, he's seeing me. Good. Okay, where's my wingman? Let's try and cover him. He's heading home. I don't know if he's gonna make it. If that's oil, as soon as the engine runs out of oil, it's gonna get real hot and just seize. No sign of the 109. If that's fuel, that's better. Maybe it's just one of the tanks and you can make it back on the other one. Yep, nobody's following. Maybe he also ran out of ammo. The German did. Still clear. Let's hope we can at least make it to the channel where I can call air sea rescue. Let's call the second Normandy. Oh. There's a machine gun. Let's try and make it fast and distract him so that he doesn't fire at my wingman. There he is. Flag Fearling. Now let's stay low. We don't want to get hit. So where's my wingman? It's so easy to lose aircraft. Big sky. No idea where he is. Let's hope he didn't get hit anymore.
Contact target 3 o'clock.
He's still alive. But where? Calling at ground targets. It's the least of my worries right now. I placed some trucks and some random ground targets all over the map, so that you can shoot something up if you find them on your way back with some ammo left. All alone, low over France. It's got to be near. There's some smoke columns in the distance.
Contact target 10 o'clock. Join up.
Maybe I can call him to join up, but no. Oops, somebody crashed over there. Puff of smoke. Let's hope it wasn't my wingman. Must have been an explosion. Low altitude.
A line of trucks at 3 o'clock entering that village.
Okay, the other flights are also
Roger.
focusing on ground targets now. There's a crash over there. Where is my flight? There are 2 Mustangs over there.
Flight. Join up.
They have blue rudders.
Transport aircraft, rejoin.
Let's call the 2 other flights to rejoin as well.
Roger. Rejoining formation.
Although I set up the missions in a way that as soon as they're outside of a given radius from your position, they're going to abandon their tasking and rejoin. So they've got to be somewhere behind. And we're approaching the coastline, so let's get some altitude. There is Deadling right in front of us. Let's use the power of the RPM. Let's turn on the carburetor air filter, because we're gonna operate and land on a grass airfield.
Flight. RTB.
Tell white flight to return to base, and then
Transport aircraft, RTV.
red and blue flights to RTB as well.
Roger.
Otherwise they will try and follow me to the ground. The wind is blowing from the southwest, So that's the direction I'm gonna land. Let's set up for an overhead pass at low altitude, and then we pull up and brake. Channel D for APC. We're inbound.
Springfield 1-1 inbound.
Springfield 1-1. Fly exit 04348. QFE 29.33.
I'm really looking forward to the day when we get World War II ATC for World War II airfields. That would be so nice. There goes the green flare. Low pass into the wind. And braking. Flat down. 15 degrees. We're slowing down. I'm going to be at an altitude of 1,000 feet over ground level, or a little more. Opening the canopy. So the airfield is at 600 feet above mean sea level. So I want to be at 1,600 feet. Gears down and locked, more flaps. RPM to 2,700. Manifold as required, but usually around 21, 23 inches. Dropping flaps more and more as I'm turning onto final. Keep the speed around 130, 140 miles per hour, especially in the turn. Need a bit more speed. A bit low. Add power. Bad reflex would be to raise the nose because then you just bleed airspeed. 120 miles per hour is what I'm aiming for. Over the threshold, pulling the stick back, power coming back, 3-point attitude. Not exactly, should have pulled the nose up a bit more, but it wasn't a bad landing. And now stick fully back to lock the tail wheel and get under control. Applying brakes very gently. And it would be easier if I had rudder pedals with toe brake axis. So I'm just tapping the button for the brakes. If I keep them pressed down for more than half a second, I would nose over. Okay, flaps coming up. Prop pitch fully forward, and let's taxi back. Let's keep off the runway so that the others can land. There's the guy with the Jeep who is shooting flares. Let's not hit him. Keep looking over our nose because it's blocking what's in front of us. There are 2 more aircraft coming in for a landing. Information. I don't want to get into their way. Okay, all clear in front. Yeah, they're coming in with full flaps, gears down. There are some parked Mustangs between the taxiway and the runway. I don't want to hit those either. And there they go. Blue tail. It's probably my own flight, minus number 2. Sadly, I don't think he made it. He was low and slow and leaking oil. Okay, we are on the taxiway right now. Let's turn left here. Slow down, easy. You don't need a lot of power. A burst of power to keep it straight, and then back to 1000 or maybe just 800. That's plenty enough. Keep turning left and right and checking. There's also a 47th Mustang and some from the 328th with the red tails. So some are already back, some are still on their way back. And I just really love these new airfields. They're very detailed and they add to the immersion rather than having just a cookie cutter airfield somewhere. And I think Detling is a good replacement for Bodney. Okay, that's our parking spot right there. You can see the oil ballot or fuel barrels. Let's slow down. Swing around. Yeah, I gotta move the stick forward to unlock the tail wheel to let it swing freely. And we arrived. So parking brake set. Let's turn off the radio, turn off the gun heater and pitot heater. Fuel pump off. And now we're gonna apply some power to clean the spark plugs. 3-4 seconds. Throttle coming back. Make sure to cut off. Open the throttle to let some fuel in to the cylinders for the next start. Okay, there are more Mustangs landing. Also, yeah, with a blue tail. Propeller stopped, so throttle comes back and magneto goes off. Battery off, generator off, fuel off. Let's lock the controls and then release hydraulic pressure. That's it, we survived, unlike some others. So this was the bonus mission of the Blue Nose Bastards of Bodney campaign using the channel map. I wish our wingman survived, but otherwise we did quite well. I claim 1 destroyed, the pilot bailed out from that 190, and 1 damaged. I'm not sure about the fate of that 109. Okay, they got 7 of us, and we got 27 of them, and I was credited with 1 kill. That's not so bad. So yeah, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. See you.